This will be the most affordable condo in the CCR. Hi everyone, so welcome back to another episode of Project Analysis with me. Many River Valley projects will be launched this second half of the year, starting from Opus, and then subsequently we will have Rivergreen, followed on by Promenade Peak, and then the Zion Road launch as well. So with all this launch upcoming, which is the most affordable, which is the one that you should be keeping your eye on? Rivergreen is just a single block development, and developer is actually by Wing Tai. So a single block with 15 stacks altogether, 36 stories, and in total 524 units. So what are we going to look at today is we are going to look at the sizes, and we are going to do a comparison with the current developments in the market right now. How are they performing? Whether or not you should be buying into Rivergreen. So again, if you have not hit the like and subscribe button, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions with regards to this analysis or any property related matters, feel free to contact me below. So coming back into the preliminary info that we have on hand today, this is a CCR property located in District 9. Planning area, like we see here, is River Valley, and this is a residential condominium, 99 years lease. Expected TOP for this development at somewhere June 30th, 2030. So 36 stories with 524 units of 1 bedroom all the way to 4 bedrooms. And if we deep dive next into the sizes, like we mentioned, the 1 bedroom all the way to 4 bedrooms, the sizes is an estimate. For 1 bedroom, we are looking at a size of 420, a 1 plus study at 450. They have a 2 bedroom at actually 527 square feet, 2 premium at 600 square feet, 2 plus study at 650 square feet. And I think this is the controversial sizes for 3 and 4 bedroom. So many feedback that we have on the ground is that for a 3 bedroom at 786 to 880 square feet, is it livable or not? So later on, we'll explore layouts that is efficient even prior to harmonization. So this development, I forgot to mention, is actually a harmonized project. So that's why whatever the space that we see in the development, it will be very efficient without the calculation of the aircon latch. And finally, for the 4 bedroom itself at 980 square feet, then the main question is, can we actually fit a family into a 4 bedroom at 980 square feet? So the interesting thing about this development is also that even though it's a harmonized project, what we can actually do is to actually knock down the walls. So developers have informed us that today some of the walls you can actually choose to knock down. So you can reconfigure the 3 bedroom or the 4 bedroom to your liking, basically free play as it is to adjust according to what you like. So when we go into the individual unit types, what I want to jump into right now is the 1 bedroom. What I want you all to look at is Midtown Modern. So this is a District 7 property. This is located at Bugis. I want to show you that a sub-sale just transacted $3,400 per square foot at a price of 1.4 mil. Alright, mind you, the size for this Midtown Modern is 409 square feet. So earlier on when we see our 1 bedroom, this is a 420 square feet. This is a 409 square feet. This is actually pre-harmonized, meaning to say that the aircon latch will be inclusive in this 409 square feet itself. If you really want to look into the layout itself, even for Midtown Bay, alright, a Midtown Bay layout of 452 square feet, the new sale is doing about $3,500 per square foot, transacting at in the 1.6 million kind of range already. Now let us dive into a 1 bedroom that is 452 square feet. Comparing it with a post-harmonization project, this pre-harmonized layout, how does it look like? So if you are looking at the layout itself, this is a very typical entryway for a 1 bedroom. And in fact, this 452 square feet, if you notice, this is in fact actually a studio itself. The key difference is that for this 452 square feet, they do not have a balcony. Aircon latch is inclusive. So even if I were to deduct a 30 to 40 square feet from this 1 bedroom itself, the actual usable size then drops to about 420 square feet itself as well. So a 452 square feet already transacted at 1.6 mil as mentioned above. And we look at what the surrounding 1 bedrooms doing in the RCR region. For example, the landmark, you can see that for 1 bedroom itself, they transact on average already about 1.429, and the highest transaction for 1 bedroom actually is about 1.535. The next one that we want to look at is actually Lentor Hill Residences. So Lentor Hill Residences already transacting in the range of $1.406 million. This is a 1+ study. Of course, the size is larger, but that also means that in the OCR region, all right, people has already accepted the price at 1.4 million. So now coming back to a 420 square feet, 1-bedroom here in Rivergreen itself, I will just use a 420 square feet as an illustration. So if you are looking at a 420 square feet, multiply by, assuming that my average PSF is about $3,200 per square foot, or even let's say I start from $2,800, $2,900 per square foot, this is all just an estimate. We do not know what's the actual price until the developer announces their price release. So if I'm going to just do an estimated price itself of about $3,000 per square foot for a 1-bedroom, so a $3,000 per square foot multiplied by 420, my price could be in the range of $1.26 million. So a 1-bedroom at $1.26 million. Earlier on, what we saw, transaction at a 409 square feet Midtown Modern, not CCR property, already hitting $1.4 million. A 452 square feet studio at Midtown Bay already transacting at $1.6 million. So today, if we enter into Rivergreen, which is located in District 9, also the CCR region, at a price of 1.26, all right, starting from or estimate average of 1.26 to about 1.3 mil. What we are getting into is actually a very value for money 1-bedroom. If you are buying this property to enter, there is safe margins for you to protect yourself by entering into Rivergreen already. Not to mention that today in River Valley area, the rentability is also very strong. Considering that our prices do start from this kind of range, what we need to take note of is the rental yield itself will be very attractive. So today, this price that developer might launch at, you have to be excited because Rivergreen will set the tonality for River Valley area. Again, if you are looking to buy into River Valley itself, I feel that Rivergreen is indeed one of the better investment properties to look at because of its pricing and because of its quantum. Due to the size, that's why the quantum becomes a little bit more palatable. So this is just an estimate. When the developers do come out with their price, we do hope to see that the prices fall within this kind of range, and with this kind of prices, it will set Rivergreen apart from the rest of the launches. Next, we actually want to explore a 2-bedroom. So for 2-bedroom in the vicinity, we actually have Irwell Hill. We do see a 603 square feet 2-bedroom. Again, how big is our 2-bedroom? 2-bed 1-bath should be about 527 square feet. Again, if I'm doing a comparison of a 603 square feet, market acceptance is already at 1.69 mil. So for this 2-bedroom itself, right, what I actually see is even for a 603 square feet, they are able to do a somewhat enclosed or tucked-in kitchen, which is again very, very attractive or very, very efficient. At the same time, because Irwell Hill is pre-harmonized, so the aircon latch is inclusive in this 603. Actual fact is today, if the aircon latch is about 30 to 40 square feet, this itself will bring the size down to be about 560 square feet thereabouts. What I want to illustrate or what I want to showcase is how efficient the layout is even for a 2-bed 1-bath. And at this sub-sale, market acceptance of about $1.69 million, this itself is very interesting to take note of because when we calculate for 527 square feet, what we do expect the starting prices to be will be even more attractive for the 2-bed 527 square feet. Looking into Pine Tree Hill, this is also located in the RCR region. So we can see that their 2-bedroom, of course, yes, they have larger 2-bedrooms as well. Their average is about 1.8 mil to even as high as $2.139 million. But of course, they have prices starting from 1.573 as well. Next one I want to talk about is the market acceptance for Jayden. Jayden is in Jurong, and yet a 2-bedroom in Jurong is at $2.329 million. Anything that you can find in the River Valley CCR region, if I tell you to find anything that is 2 mil thereabouts, I feel that this is still a very, very good value entry price for a 2-bedroom in the River Valley vicinity. Of course, then we compare to One Pearl Bank, right? So One Pearl Bank is an RCR region. I think all of us know where One Pearl Bank is located. It's located at Outram MRT station. Important thing to take note of is also done at $2.38 million, 1.9 average, and the lowest being 1.55. And why I want to draw your attention to this is because today for 700 square feet unit type in One Pearl Bank, it is a 2-bed 1 bath. It's not a 2-bed, 2-bath. So for a 700 square feet, what am I getting myself into? Personally, I think for those that buy one per bank, this will be a project that you buy because you like that iconic location, you like that project itself because it's an icon in the past, and right now when they build it up, it's still iconic, not to say the least. But when we look at the layout itself, yes, they are able to provide you a tuck-in kitchen. However, because of the shape of the building, what we are seeing is a slight curvature to the unit itself. That's why the unit have to open up in this manner. When we look at the layout itself, they have aircon ledge, they have a large balcony together with a planter box. So all in all, this 700 square feet, for the amount of money that you'll be paying for, are you paying for space efficiency? Are you buying in to utilize all of the space itself? So for 700 square feet, what is the actual usable size itself for a 700 square feet at 1 per bank? So this is something that you have to take note of when you are making this purchase. Are you going to pay in the range of 1.9 mil or even 1.8, 1.7 mil to be buying a 700 square feet, 2-bed, 1-bath at 1 per bank with a layout like that? I mean, this is all subjective. If you like the location, you prefer the layout and you want to stay in a unit like that, so be it. But of course, when you are coming from an investment point of view, then are we wasting money when it comes down to purchasing a unit like that? So when I move into the unit types of a 2-bedroom in Rivergreen itself, if I use 527 square feet, multiply again by 3,000, the size itself at 3,000 multiplied by 527, we are looking at about 1.58 mil. Thereabouts. If the developer were to start from a lower per square foot at $2,800, $2,900 per square foot, this will then bring our entry price to be even lower than 1.58. So if you are looking for a 600 square feet 2-bedroom premium, multiply by 3,000 as well, this will bring our total price to be about 1.8 mil. Last is actually a 2+ study. Similarly, I'm going to use $3,000 per square foot to multiply. And what I'm getting, 3,000 multiplied by 650, I'll be getting about 1.95 starting from, or rather the average price. Hopefully developers, again, they start from a lower price because this is still a 30-over story development. So by the time they do the loading all the way to the top floor, you do not want the price or the per square foot to look too scary as well. So this is something that the developers will probably have to manage as well. So again, we are buying into safety and we are buying into below market acceptance. So if you are looking at the price range itself, even at this kind of price transaction, we are still buying below market acceptance. And that's very important because what I want to be buying into, especially if I'm buying for investment, I want to be buying into safety. I want to be buying into assurance. So in this case, when the market has transacted already at a higher price and us coming in, harmonized plot of land, harmonized development at this kind of sizes, at this kind of price, I think that's important to take note of, that today we are buying into safety. So if you like what you're hearing today, especially about how we do our project analysis, do feel free to contact me today to find out a little bit more about how we can plan for you and to make sure that today your purchase is buying into safety and buying into acceptance. In the market itself, people always ask me, Brian, 786 square feet, can we actually fit a 3-bedroom? I do want to stress that back then when Lentor Mansion was launched, the 786 square feet Lentor Mansions unit sold out in 1 day. Why was the 786 in an OCR well received? Is also because of demand as well. People do want to upgrade. However, because of affordability, they are looking at prices that they can afford to. That's why at the end of the day, the 786 will still move well as compared to larger unit types. Sometimes larger unit types would then mean that the affordability or the quantum is much larger. Henceforth, the target audience is also very, very different. So for 786 square feet, let me bring your attention to Poise Residence. So the interesting thing that we find about Poise Residence is that for 775 square feet, this is a pre-harmonized project. So the aircon ledge is always being calculated. And what we are looking at is a profit amount of 500 to 600,000 as well for a 775 unit. And how does the layout look like? Personally, I feel like this is still a very efficient layout for a pre-harmonized development, 72 square meters. Entering in, I get a tuck-away open kitchen. I still will be able to do a landscape layout, which is again well received by families. At the same time, if you look at the master bedroom, I think the master bedroom is considered quite a good size. And bedroom 2 itself can fit a queen size bed as well. However, for bedroom 3, yes, maybe we can only fit a single bed or super single bed. Take into consideration that today aircon ledge is also part of the calculation. So what we want to be able to do is, in a harmonized project, what they might be able to do is to fit the aircon ledge size into bedroom 3, hence making bedroom 3 more livable as well. Remember, At the end of the day is how we can make the space more livable. And in River Valley itself, this is a sought after district with many people wanting to enter into that area. As long as the space is made livable and the price made affordable, I personally feel that Rivergreen will be something that home buyers will also look to purchase as well. So if we move into the size itself, if I use a 786 square feet, multiply by say $2,900 per square foot, assuming that today they sell the 3-bedroom for a much lower PSF. So at $2,900 per square foot, I will see prices starting from $2.27 million. Again, at this kind of price now, if I want to find anything in District 9, 10 at this kind of prices for newer properties, I'm not able to find anything at this kind of price range. So this will be a very, very good starting price to look into for a 786 square feet 3-bedroom in Rivergreen. I think the 980 square feet is the most interesting because when I first saw a 980 square feet, in my head I was also wondering, 980 square feet, how can I do a 4-bedroom? But of course, we look into this, right? We actually do see 990 square feet. Again, I want to bring your attention to is this is a pre-harmonized development. This is actually Sims Urban Oasis, located in a RCR region. However, in RCR region, they are still able to do 4-bedroom. And personally, this is a beautiful layout as well. Able to enter enclosed kitchen with utility room at the back. Take note, they have 2 big aircon ledges over here. So 990 square feet minus maybe away 50 to 70 square feet. This area is much smaller than Rivergreen, effectively maybe only 920 to 930 square feet. So we do have a livable living area and a good dining space. All bedrooms all can fit a queen size bed, and you have a very decent sized master bedroom as well. Again, when you question whether 980 can we do a proper 4-bedroom for Rivergreen, personally I think that we can. And because of the acceptance, I want to show you what are the prices doing already. So Emerald of Katong starts from about 2.7 to the highest about 3.4. Pine Tree Hill, for example, is doing on average about 3.24 over $1 million. Nava Grove, on the other hand, is doing about 2.98, highest about 3.9. And even if we go further, for example, Dairy Farm Botany, they're doing about 2.5 to maybe about 2.7 mil thereabouts. And of course, if you look into the CCR region, we have Avenir. This is done at 8 over million and 9 over million dollars. Of course, these are vastly different properties in the CCR region because of the size and because of its tenure. What I want to do is 980 square feet multiplied by $2,900 per square foot. We are looking at potentially a 2.84 mil starting from price. Alright, if the developer were to sell 2009 starting from, or an average of $3,000 or $3,100 for a 4-bedroom, if they decide to start anything lower than $2,900 per square foot, means that our prices can start as low as 2.7 mil. Again, let me stress that today, if you are looking to buy into Rivergreen, do not mind the sizes. Look at the quantum, look at the affordability. To be able to buy into District 9, to be able to buy into a CCR region with this kind of price tag, this price tag is very similar to your OCR and even your RCR prices already. So if you are giving a consideration to buying right into River Valley itself, be it whether you're buying in for own stay or for investment, I would think that Rivergreen is indeed one of the choices that you should be considering, especially at this kind of price tag for you to enter. So again, if you like what you're seeing today, please help me like, share, and subscribe. So if you have any more questions, do feel free to leave them in the comment section and I'll answer to them accordingly. But more importantly, if you want to reach out to me for your own personal planning, do feel free to DM me. Alright, bye!